Hello, everyone. That was like 30 seconds of awkward for Charlie, right? That was so, and that was him squirming. So it was the A and B camera shot there.
Love it. Love it. Love
So,
it. Can't get enough of his stares.
I cannot either. Hi, T. Cantella. Hi, how are you doing, Thomas? And it's so good to see you. T says, Tara, I believe, and hello. Hey, party time, Donna, looking for any benzos to be had in jail. Harvey trying to get disability to prevent going to jail. Oh, gosh, I don't think that's going to work. And Wendy, Doe, and Poise out the wazoo. Yeah, so probably, I think it was, I can't remember who mentioned about withdrawal. If you're arrested and you're on certain medications, you might not necessarily get those medications when you are, when you go to jail and or even if you were, it might take days, right, for a doctor to see you, and you're going to start going through withdrawals. If there's something like that you're taking, that would be very, very, very hard. Nice to see you all. So we, by the way, Katie kind of bailed out at the last minute, but Carla's here instead, and Carla's going to be here tomorrow. And so I like that for continuity. Anyway, Carla and I are going to review the testimony of Luis Rivera for three reasons. One, because I want to see it again. I was so busy in the chat when I was watching the trial that I missed a lot, and I just want to focus on it. And so we're going to focus on it and give you our reactions. And if you're in the comments and you want to give your reactions too, and if you actually want me to pause the video so I can put your comment up, just type in pause or stop in caps and I'll do that. But also, I don't think, Carla, did you see Luis's testimony, or did you see parts of it?
I saw parts of it. I was, okay. Work getting in the way of my true crime life again. So
I know. What's wrong with that?
I know. I say that to my boss all the time.
What's wrong?
So no, I didn't get to see it all. So this is going to be good. I appreciate you doing this.
Oh, good. And I appreciate you doing it with me. It's so fun. It's so fun to have a partner in crime. I shouldn't say that, especially given the serious nature of what we're talking about. So it's been a week. I planned on doing this before we got the news of Donna. I always call her Donald. I mean, maybe I should just call her the Donald. Okay.
I call her Donnaria.
Oh no. That's gross. Donna. Yeah, yep, that's good. And then so Donna got arrested so quickly after. I was still trying to absorb. Tell me if you feel this way, you guys. I was still trying to absorb this whole trial because there were so many weird and funny and odd and interesting and just mind-blowing moments, right? For that whole 2 weeks. Really, it wasn't even a 2 weeks because it was a half a week of jury selection where we just looked at shoes. And then we got the opening statements and this puzzle pieces thing, which was hilarious. And you have to admit that was hilarious. And that kind of carried us through until we got into some of the meaty testimony. And then, of course, the big grand show of Charlie testifying on his own behalf, which was, as we know, is disastrous. I mean,
Katie testifying. That was the big one for me.
Yeah, but that was the end of it, though. And then it was like we blinked and there was a verdict. It wasn't like we were just. So Thomas wants to say, do you want to give us a little bit of Ronald McDonough? Okay, there we go. I like it. I like that. Hello, Lorenzo. Yeah, I know a lot of people were worried about the jury. So do you want to give us a little intro about yourself, because you just jumped onto the scene here, and I think it was Thomas last week who wanted a little intro about yourself. Do you want to tell us what you're all about?
So Dawn and I are sort of neighbors, and I don't remember, I want to say on Mentor Lawyers channel, I don't know how it came up. Somehow it came up, and I reached out to her and I said, hey, I think, we're kind of neighbors. We live in the same city. And so that's how we connected. We kind of went from there. let's see. Gosh. Okay. Here's a riddle for you in terms of what profession I'm in, what I do for a living. So unofficial, I would say lawyer, party planner at times, counselor, unofficial, a couple of other things is what I do for a living. So if you can figure that out, major.
Wow.
I know. Have to keep a little bit of mystery. And let's see. So I'm a mom of 2, but the kids are out of the house. Now I just say that I'm a mom to 2 fur babies.
Okay.
Pumpkin and Zoom, which you guys may or may not hear barking. Sometimes I think you heard them on the first time that I was on.
We like pets here.
Yeah, no, they're the best. So she's a Maltipoo. She's 13 years old, and Zoom, Zoom, and no, I didn't name him after Zoom, the platform. That's what he was named when I adopted him. He's a Labradoodle. So he's 9 months old. Good God, I haven't had a puppy in 12 years. So as you can imagine, that's quite interesting. And in terms of personal, I would just say that along with all of you, this case really captured me from the beginning. There was something that seemed off about it, kind of like Alec Murdaugh. Little bits and pieces started coming out that just didn't quite make sense. So it really kind of captured me. It's going on like 10 years. And I really have followed it. You know, I, along with everybody else, was frustrated that there wasn't a lot of movement, but justice moves slowly sometimes. And so now here I am.
And was it like myself? Did you learn about this case through Mentor Lawyers channel? And like so many of us?
I did. So I learned more about it through him because there was just a little bit out there when it all happened. And so I found his channel and I started watching him. I didn't subscribe for a while. I don't just kind of subscribe to every channel that I come across. So I kind of test the waters, if you will. And once I was more invested in, you know, what he was saying, what he was talking about, I subscribed, kind of stayed in the background. And just recently, probably in the last, I would say 4 months, 5 months, maybe 6 months is when I started participating more in the chats.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, I wasn't big on the chats until in the last year or so, or maybe 2. I mean, I would watch tons of YouTube stuff and I never even realized there were chats and comment. I was just like, watch the stuff and hit the like, you know, I always hit the like button if I'm watching. I just feel like it's manners. But Mentor, I remember when he first put it out there and he does things in a kind of an unorthodox way. So, he'd be outside in the park with his kid and, I'm traveling to see my mom. I'm over here. And, there'd be all this scenery and he'd be talking. And it took me a minute but I subscribed right away. And, it's interesting. I subscribed to his channel and I wasn't a true crime person either, but I subscribed to his channel. And then I really like the YouTube algorithms that send you content based on what they think you might like. And and from that, I got some great content. So I'm super happy we met through that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
The benefit of chatting,
Yeah, no kidding. Right. Yeah. No, I will say I've always been interested in true crime, but I'm also really interested in just like human behavior. So another genre that I'm interested in is like cults. So I read like a lot of books of people who have escaped, especially Scientology. I've read a lot of their books, and so it's very fascinating to me.
Yeah. It's interesting. I guess I'm not really interested in human psychology. I guess I am, but I'm not like you are. And like some people, it's just a show to me. It's like, this is actually really happening. This is not created in a movie. This is really happening. And it's mind-boggling, to see some of the things we see in trials. And this one really has captured my attention, and certain people, are just so obsessed with it. And I don't care. I am. but I also watch other trials, and I'm very interested in other trials. So if you're interested in the cult thing, people getting out of them, how did you react to the whole Lori, Chad, Daybell situation?
Yeah, that one I've also been following from the very beginning. Again, human behavior, and enough to where you watch something or you hear about it and you say there's more to this. There's just more. There has to be more. So same thing. Very disheartening. It was very obvious that, the children were just not around. She, like Wendy, chose her words very carefully. If you look back now on some of the things that she said, she was very careful in how she said it, what she said, and it's all part of the plan. And unfortunately, her children were casualties of those extreme beliefs. And so was his wife. And look, the fact that 2 weeks after your wife of almost 30 years dies, you go and get married. There's something there,
I mean, come on, right? That was nuts, just crazy. All right. Well, before I came on here for about an hour, I was kind of just resting and icing and, doing what I was doing to my sore neck. And I was listening and watching Annie Cushing. And she's the aunt of Tylee and the sister of Joe. What was his
Tylee's father? Bryan.
Thank you. I had to put it all together. My brain, I got a headache. So Joe Ryan, who now she's being extradited to Arizona, and she will face charges for Joe, I think,
for Charles,
as well as Charles. But Joe has not been locked up yet. So, but she has a lot of evidence.
Well, Joe is passed away. I think you mean Chad.
No. Lori is being looked at for having a part in murdering Joe as well.
Gotcha.
Joe
interesting.
Ryan.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't know that, but I did hear
locked up. It was sort of locked up, and then they're opening up again. Yeah. Yeah.
So I heard that her extradition is being put on hold until she exhausts her appeals in Utah, Idaho, wherever she's at in Idaho, that it's being put on hold because then, quote unquote, they're violating her rights if they extradite her, even though both states already agreed.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be some jockeying, but we'll see what happens. Arizona wants her. She doesn't want to go to Arizona. I guess the prisons there are pretty awful. But anyway, so yeah, we have that in common as well. And I love Annie Cushing's coverage, and because she's so detailed and straightforward and data driven and fact driven.
She's very left brain, so she's very analytical.
Yep. She's a data person. So yeah. So, okay. So we're here to take a look at Luis's testimony, and we're going to spend an hour tonight and an hour or so tomorrow night. We might come on a little bit earlier tomorrow night. And I know a lot of you RSVP'd, so hopefully you're going to be able to join us, or if you haven't joined us in live, you're going to join us in the replay. So hi to you too. So thanks for watching and thanks for being here. So here we go. I'm going to take a look at the video here. Hopefully I have it from the start. There's our guy. There's our guy, Luis. First of all, did you notice a change in his appearance? He looked thinner right off the bat. He looked thinner. The other thing I noticed right off the bat is I could tell what I think is he really didn't want to be there. And I feel like especially he felt this way once he heard what Charlie was putting down, because so what I want to watch for in this testimony is how vehemently he denies any Latin King gang association with what he did and with what Charlie, any interaction or, theoretically that Charlie had with him, because that's putting him in danger. He's visibly upset about it. Also, you'll see him get annoyed that he has to come back the next Monday morning to testify. He was visibly annoyed because they have to get him up at like 3 a.m. I think this dude just wants to go back to his little home I believe he's in an Arizona prison, and just finish out his sentence and not have this brought up, shoved up in his face again. And of course he's not going to, because if there's going to be more trials, he'll have to go through this again. But he was really, I think that's why he was so annoyed with Charlie. So that's my opinion.
But I agree. He definitely different appearance. I think Arizona's doing him good, by the way. He's appealed, or he's not necessarily appealed, but he's asked Florida to keep him in Arizona because of his safety. Right. So right. I think more so I'm kind of on the side of, I think he is adamant about the Latin Kings not having anything to do with this because they were his family for so many decades.
Well, sure.
Sure. And so a part of him is still trying to protect that little, if anything, is left of, him turning against them. I don't think it's necessarily that he's doing it for any other reason other than to really protect what he has left. And by the way, your graphics, love, Dawn, love your graphics.
Thank you.
About as creative as I am is Canva. So I love everything that you put out.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I try. I can't do things without making them look a certain way. That's just how I roll. Whatever it is. If I'm cooking or whatever, I'm just a designer. Well,
keep on rolling, girl. Keep on rolling.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Okay, well, let's roll. Let's get started. Here we go. Charlie. Now, let me see. Is this when they started? Was his stare when they started? Or I thought they took I might not have this in the right order.
So they went to have that sidebar, and I thought that they did the proffer first.
Right. I might not have this in the right. Yeah, because he's staring him down right now.
Really? I thought that he was looking in that direction, but not necessarily at him.
Oh, no. He is. Look at Charlie and look at him. What? And let me go back. Because this is.
Yeah,
See, Charlie was looking at him. And then he wants to look back, and he's like, oh my God, this guy's staring right at me. How awkward. And he looks at him with his eyes real quickly, and then he looks away. And the cameraman picked it up, started zooming on him. And then he did it again. He's like, is he still looking? And then they caught Luis. And I did in my little short. See, he's looking right at Charlie. Right at Charlie. Daggers. Well, I don't even know if it's daggers. He's just like, what do you think he's thinking?
Probably, damn, here we go again.
I think he's thinking, how can you be so stupid? You're a dentist. You have all this money. What did you do with your life? He came from nothing, right? He was poor. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I think this is not where it started. So I do apologize. But I think something got mixed up.
Any information about Mr. Markel from a blog?
Oh, this is the best.
Okay. Either of you, to your knowledge, go on the computer and look on his Facebook, or search him in any kind of way.
Not at all.
Yeah, Charlie's not even comfortable looking at him.
From this piece of paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to the address on the paper on the first trip?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to see Professor Markel that trip?
No.
What did y'all do that trip?
We tried to follow him, but we lost him. But
all right, so you saw his vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And tried to follow it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember where you followed it that trip?
Not that trip. I don't think I remember.
Okay. Did you watch his home? Sit and watch his home during that first trip? Did anybody get out of the car and look around or poke around his property?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did that?
Garcia.
Why didn't the murder get done on this trip?
And I can't remember.
Did you?
Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning because I think this is going to be confusing. Okay. So let's see. Because I don't know how this video got put out of order here. Okay, let's go back. That's Charlie. What?
That's Charlie.
Got mixed up. Hold on here. Let me just go to YouTube and grab it. It's easier. Something happened with the download, I guess. Right. So anything else you want to chat about while I get this out here together?
I just we need to have a convo about, this week's latest and greatest. And
I know.
Donna, and I don't think she's going to make it very, very far. Dawn, I really don't. She looks bad.
Oh, she doesn't look that bad. She's 73.
I think she does. No, I think she does. I think she's had work, but I don't think she's going to last. Really
she's
don't.
Feisty. She's feisty. This is somebody who is willing to move to Vietnam, right?
Yeah, out of desperation, though. But so
still, if she was in that bad of shape, I don't think she would have been able to even consider doing that.
And that's another thing. So I know that Harvey wasn't arrested, but can't he be arrested for, I don't know, like accessory after the fact even? I mean, something, because he clearly knew, what they were doing. Sure. He wasn't going without knowledge of everything against his will.
Right. They were not. So the way I understood what Jack Campbell said after they arrested Donna is they were planning to, they weren't quite ready to, but because she was fleeing, it forced their hand. He said that. Mm-hmm. And so if they weren't ready quite for Donna, they probably didn't have everything ready for Wendy and Harvey either. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to be charged with something at some point. And we don't know whether he went to Vietnam, and we don't know whether he was told not to travel. So we don't know a lot about that situation. But just because he wasn't arrested with her doesn't mean that he's not going to be arrested, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
True. I just think, you have momentum now, but that's just me, right? Wanting quick justice for his family.
Right. I agree. I do too. And I would like to see, I just went backwards. I would like to see the three of them that are remaining tried together in one. I would love to see that. I would love nothing more than to see that. Okay, let me change the screen. Sorry about that, you guys. And couldn't talk till Friday. Hello. Leaving and getting caught are two different things. She looks so defeated and not well. I agree, jail will take her down. She's not going to do well. Nobody does well in jail. She's 73. I think she's pretty feisty. She looked defiant, personally, but
she definitely looks defiant, and especially when she rolled her eyes at the judge, when she said, good luck to you. But she just, she's in jail now. I don't think she's going to make it to prison. And if she does, it's going to be the end of her.
Oh yeah. She's going to die probably in prison if she decides to fight it. There's a possibility that she doesn't. Here's what I think. And I know it's not the popular viewpoint, but just think about this. If she were to just plead guilty, that she would take anything that might have come out in her trial wouldn't come out, right? Because there wouldn't be a trial.
Right.
And there would be no additional testimony, nothing for the prosecution to work from other than what they already have. And they probably have more evidence than, a lot of people are just basing everything on what we know from previous trials, but they have more than what we know.
Sure.
And so if she were to plead guilty, she would somewhat stymie some further action. And she could take that to the grave, and it could potentially protect Wendy and Charlie, depending on what they know and she knows they know.
You mean Wendy?
Sorry?
Wendy and Harvey?
Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah. Wendy and Harvey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see her. Well, I don't know. Other people. Well, no,
I think she's feisty, and I think she would want to fight it, but yeah, it's all speculation. But I if you're saying she's defeated, then she'd probably just plead guilty. That lines up more with what you're saying. If I'm seeing her as a fighter, I think the lawyer's going to talk to her and be happy to take her money, but I don't think she stands a chance. Okay, let's start from the beginning here. Okay.
Good morning, members of the jury.
Sorry about that, you guys.
I hope you had a restful weekend. We are going to pick back up where
Love
we
this
left off
judge.
on Friday.
I do too. He's my spirit animal.
Mr. Rivera, Mr.
Can you guys
Ralph,
hear okay?
You may cross-examine when you're ready.
Make sure you got that up. Let me know in the chat if you're hearing this okay.
Before we get into your testimony, I want to clarify one thing. You didn't extort Charlie Adelson, right?
No.
One moment. Veronica, are you having problems?
Wait a minute.
All right.
Why
You
is
can
this?
assist him.
Oh, this is proffer. Okay, sorry.
Mr. Rivera, make sure you speak as loudly as you can,
All right.
sir.
Proffer.
Thank you.
And the answer to that question was no, right?
No.
You were paid $37,000 in your role in the murder of Professor Markell, right?
Yes.
You were supposed to be paid $35,000.
Yes.
Fredo Garcia, the shooter, gave you an extra $2,000, right?
Yes.
Your understanding was that the total payment was $100,000, correct?
Yes.
And that it was a one-time payment.
Yes, sir.
And you were told that you, Sigfredo, and Katie were hired by a lady to do a murder for hire, right?
No. If I was told by the lady,
No, I'm sorry. Let me slow down. You were told by Sigfredo that all of you were hired by a lady to do the murder, right?
yeah.
That you were doing it so that she could get her kids back.
Yes, sir.
And all of your information came from Sigfredo Garcia and Katie, correct?
Sigfredo, yes, sir.
Okay. And all of Sigfredo's information, to your knowledge, came from Katie, right?
Yes, sir.
Everything you knew about the murder plot came from Sigfredo.
Yes, sir.
According to you, Katie was the mastermind.
Yes, sir.
She was the one, as you've said, running the shots.
Yes, sir.
Charlie's
Anything that
face.
Sigfredo or you did in connection with the murder had to be cleared through Katie, correct?
Yes, sir.
Charlie's face right here, this is why he got the stare down later. Because his face here is just so memorable, wouldn't you say? I mean, he
His
looks
face-
like he swallowed a giant duck or something. He's like, I don't know. He's really not looking good here.
Yeah. He just looked unwell throughout. I mean, but then again, you
Yeah.
know, murder will do that to you. So,
Well, yeah, murder can do that. Jail can do that.
Mhm.
And Sigfredo and Katie lied to you about a lot of things about this murder, right?
That about what?
Well, let's go through it. For starters, during the first trip in early June, Sigfredo told you that you were going to do a robbery, right?
I just want to say, lied about what is really smart. He didn't just say, yeah, they lied. Like, he's not just going along with, he's not allowing the attorney to just lull him into answers, which is what attorneys try to do by offering like a general statement like that. He could have said, yeah, sometimes they lied. No, he just was like what? He's really sharp that way.
Yeah, he's definitely matured.
Yeah. And his answers are very short and sweet, no explanations. Yeah, he's good.
Not
And-
until
and
on
I'm
the
gonna-
way up did you find
I'm going to get carried ahead of myself, but I just got to tell you now, my favorite line is when he said, Wendy is the blog.
I know.
out that you were going to do a murder.
What's funny?
Before the July trip, you didn't want to go, right?
Yes, sir.
And to convince you, Sigfredo again told you that you were just going there to scope things out.
Yes, sir.
During the second trip, the day before the murder, you drove by Professor Markell's house. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And you testified that at some point after you arrived at Markell's house, after noon on the 17th, you saw a woman and two kids walking on Trescott by the house,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And the woman looked at you as the Prius passed and immediately got on her phone.
Yes, sir.
You testified that you asked Sigfredo what was up with the lady. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And Sigfredo responded that that's her. That's the guy's wife. That's the one that wants the kids back.
Yes, sir.
You asked Sigfredo what the lady was doing there on Trescott with the kids.
Yes, sir.
And Sigfredo responded that she came there to make sure that everything was all right,
Absolutely.
meaning all right with the plan.
Yes.
Now, there are a lot of people who don't believe this, that Luis was confused, do not, and challenge this testimony while believing everything else he says. So what do you think about the way he's delivering? I mean, he doesn't appear to be like, well, I said it this, because Luis has said when he's confused. In fact, like he has said a few contradictory things about things that are kind of unimportant, but this is not unimportant. And this is all about Wendy. This has nothing to do with Charlie also, by the way. So what do you think in terms of him answering this question? Does he seem like he's making it up or confused?
No, I think he's Luis and the professionals, like the people that testified, the neighbor, those have been the only credible people.
Right.
Sir.
And did you say this is Bree over here?
Yeah, no.
Behind
Yeah. So the rumor was that's her and that she had been there on and off. That's why you sometimes see her, you sometimes don't. And I can't remember in which chat it was that somebody said, Bree, is that Bree? And she turned around.
Okay. So here's mentor lawyer and possibly Bree. And we have Joel over here. This is Dan's father here, Mr. Markel. And it looks like Ruth is over here. They're usually sitting together, but it's like they were separate at that moment.
As you sit here now, you're aware that the woman and the kids on the street was not the same lady, right?
I don't know if that was her or not, but she looked at my car.
It's possible that Sigfredo lied to you, right?
Who knows?
Another lie.
Why would he lie about something like that? I mean, what on earth? Because they haven't mentioned any other things that Sigfredo just fabricated. And right?
Yeah, and here's what gets me.
What would Sigfredo have to gain?
Right.
Nothing by saying that. Well, it doesn't even make sense.
Right.
There's not. Okay, go ahead.
No, I would. That's exactly what I was going to say. It doesn't make sense, and I think this is part of where he lost me. I've got to be honest with you, and I just feel like these puzzle pieces. I don't even feel like the puzzle, that wrapping paper was, the plastic wrapping paper was even taken off of the puzzle, let alone the puzzle pieces were laid out.
You mean Dan, the lawyer?
Right.
Okay.
That Sigfredo.
But that one is something that is been a bone of contention for years. And, people's opinions about that are divided, but and Luis doesn't say, why would he lie to me? He's like, well, he could have lied, sure. But he's not like invested in it either, which tells me he's being honest. He's like, well, this is what he said. Do I know if he's lying? No, but this is what he said. Right. He's like, this is what he said. And so we have to ask ourselves, why would he say it? Right. And why would Dan Rashbaum want him to say it's a lie or put that doubt in our minds? So as jury members.
That was it. Oh, sorry. Strike that, Your Honor. Your understanding is that the money for the murder would be paid by the lady, right?
Yes, sir.
Again, your understanding came from Sigfredo.
Yes, sir.
You didn't go with Katie to get the money, right?
No.
So you don't know where she got it from?
No.
And you don't know what happened when she got it?
No.
Sigfredo never told you that he and Katie got more than $100,000 the night of the murder, did he?
No.
That would make sense why you got an extra $2,000, right?
Maybe.
And Katie never told you that they got more than $100,000 the night of the murder, right?
No.
Sigfredo never told you that he and Katie were getting paid every month. after the murder, right?
Never knew nothing about that.
You didn't know that they were getting paid $3,000 a month.
No.
You didn't know that they were getting paid $1,000 in Adelson Institute checks, did you?
Nope.
It's like, what do I care, right? He's like shrugs his shoulders. He's not showing any indication that he's trying to shill for one side or the other. He's just telling what happened.
He's telling the truth.
He is and I think this is the proffer, but maybe it's the cross. I don't know. I'm so confused. But anyway, we'll figure it out. But if the jury's there, they're going to see that he's intently listening to Rashbaum. His eyes are bright and alert. You know, he's not answering before the question is asked. You know, he's very. He seems to be very truthful.
But you saw that Sigfredo was spending a lot of money, right?
Yes.
You saw that Sigfredo even told you that he had paid for Katie's breast augmentation surgery, right? Her breast surgery.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. If he told me about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told you he paid for it, right?
That's what he said.
You didn't know that Katie was getting money from Charlie Adelson every month in an extortion plot, did you?
No.
In May of 2015, you get arrested on a federal RICO.
There are times during this trial that Charlie's lips are white. They're absolutely white right here. Like he is so pale.
Case, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were detained.
Yes, sir.
And you wanted to get out of prison, right? You wanted to get a bail.
Yeah.
You started thinking about the fact that Katie and Sigfredo seemed to be spending a lot of money, right?
No.
Okay. So let's briefly recap all the lies that they told you. Not that you made, but that they told you. They lied to you about the purpose of the trip going to Tallahassee, right?
Yeah.
They lied to you about who the lady was on the street.
Yeah.
They lied to you about the amount of money they received.
Yeah.
They lied to you about getting money every month.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it possible that they lied to you about the purpose of the job to begin with?
They don't even got the money. Where they want to get the money from?
Bam.
I love his face right there. It's like, that doesn't make any sense, but sure. Okay.
Very
Isn't it
logical.
possible that you thought it was a murder for hire, but it was really an extortion?
Extortion to who?
Charlie Adelson, not from you, but from them.
Okay.
Isn't it possible?
I don't know.
By the way, on Friday, you testified that you just wanted to rob the lady, right?
Yes, sir.
But Sigfredo was adamant. We can't rob the lady. We got to do the murder.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that because he wanted to keep on getting money every month?
I don't know.
But you would have just robbed him, right?
Yep.
Would have been a lot easier, right?
Real quick.
Would have been a one-time payment, right?
That's it.
Couldn't have gotten paid over time, though, right?
I don't know.
Well, if you rob someone, it's hard to keep robbing them over and over and over again.
Absolutely,
Right?
of course.
All right, so I want to back up a little bit, and I thank you for your honesty.
But he said rob the lady, not rob the guy.
I think it's word salad, and he's trying to confuse him on purpose.
I know, but I'm just saying he's going to catch up. Well, with the cross defense, with the redirect. Especially because they're going to try to implicate his gang. It's so silly.
You've never met Charlie Adelson, correct?
Nope.
You've never seen him before this case.
Nope.
You've never spoken to him by phone.
Never.
And you've never communicated with him in any way.
Never.
You've never met Donna or Harvey Adelson.
Nobody.
You never spoken to them by phone.
I didn't.
So this is all about the whole family. This is, I feel Charlie. Daniel was trying to protect the whole family, not Charlie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody.
And the same goes with Wendy Adelson, correct?
Nobody.
It's very obvious.
You know Sigfredo your whole life.
Yes, sir.
You're like brothers.
Yes, sir.
You've known Katie since she and Sigfredo started dating when they were teenagers.
Yes, sir.
You consider them to be married.
Yes, sir.
Sigfredo was deeply in love with Katie, right?
Absolutely.
He would do, as you've said, anything for her, right?
Anything.
He was, as you said, blind over her, right?
Yes, sir.
Katie treated him badly.
Yes.
She messed up his head, as you've said, right?
Yes, sir.
At some point, you learned from Sigfredo that Katie was having a relationship with someone she worked with, right?
Yes, sir.
Sigfredo told you that Katie was cheating on him with someone called the dentist.
Yes, sir.
According to what Sigfredo told you, Katie was sleeping with the dentist at the same time she was sleeping with Sigfredo, right?
Yes, sir.
So Sigfredo knew that Katie was cheating on him,
Yes, sir.
and he was.
So here, Charlie takes longer blinks, holds his eyes closed longer. He doesn't really want to hear that. He wasn't aware of this until the trial. If you notice, his blinking changed.
Wasn't too happy about it, right?
Nope.
See,
Sigfredo told you
he's like, yeah, she cheated on me.
that the dentist had money. Let me rephrase. Sigfredo told you that Katie told him the person she was with was rich.
No.
Well, he told you that Katie would flaunt and show off to Sigfredo that the person she was dating with had money, right?
I don't think so.
Sigfredo was devastated when he learned about Katie's new relationship.
Yeah, anybody will, right?
I agree. Sigfredo started drinking too much.
Every day.
He started doing drugs.
Yes, sir.
He was acting crazy and unstable.
Yes, sir.
He couldn't keep a job. In fact, you had to fire him from a job, help get him fired from a job, right?
Yes, sir.
Because he was drinking even while at work.
Yes, sir.
And he was fighting a lot.
Yes, sir.
Katie told Sigfredo that she would only take him back if he did this job for her, right?
Yeah.
Now, before Sigfredo was fired from his job, I want to take you to March 14th of 2014. Okay? I'll refresh your memory about it.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Let's go.
There was a day when you were driving home from work and Sigfredo was driving you and he took a detour to a restaurant on Miami Beach. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
And you and Sigfredo were in Sigfredo's truck, a Dodge Ram.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sigfredo had been drinking
Every day.
and you were supposed to be headed home, but Sigfredo drove you to the restaurant.
Yes, sir.
You parked near the restaurant and you could see people sitting at tables eating outside. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And one of those people eating at the restaurant was Katie.
Yes, sir.
She was with 3 other people.
I remember that.
Do you remember they were all white?
I don't remember.
Okay. Sigfredo pointed Katie out to you and said that one of the people there was the dentist. Do you
Yes,
recall
sir.
that? And while you were sitting in Sigfredo's truck watching Katie and the dentist, Sigfredo told you he was going to run him over when they got up, right?
Yes, sir.
And what did you tell him in response?
I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna get off the truck.
But he was serious.
Yes, sir.
So here's the second time of many, or more than one time. I shouldn't say it's the second. It depends on where you start. Where Luis is the reasonable one between Sigfredo and him. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get out of the car. Like, what are you thinking? It sounds like he had to do that a lot with his friend Sigfredo.
That's what he was like, right? He was angry.
He was a good man. But anybody get angry if your wife is doing another man?
And he was angry. He wanted to hurt the dentist, right?
Yeah.
Are you aware that he actually did try to run him off the road a couple months later in July 1st, 2014? Did he ever tell you about that incident with a jet ski?
No.
They had referred to this as road rage. I was like, what road rage? They're talking about this time when it wasn't road rage. He didn't try to pull him. He just pulled in front of them and started yelling at him. It was miscategorized, and I kept waiting for the trial to say, where's the road rage? I thought we were going to hear something different, and he's actually talking about that one incident. Do you remember?
I do, but Katie also, she hyped it up a little too.
Yeah, but I don't think they ever in previous trials referred to it as road rage.
No, they didn't.
Right. Right on, Sherry. Yeah. Poor Charlie. Getting cheated on. Ugh.
Can I have one moment, Your Honor?
He can only do the cheating. He can't be cheated on.
Right.
Is the jury there? Is this the proffer?
I thought we were doing the proffer. This must be the cross.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that's why my videos were messed up, because the Tallahassee's
Let me
were.
take you a little bit back to the first trip, okay? First trip to Tallahassee. Sigfredo came to your house and said he had a job.
I mean, this is one of the most interesting parts of the trial. It's so quiet, and it's just, Luis really does command a lot of, like, you want to hear what he has to say, because he's not embellishing, and he's straightforward, right? It's kind of, even watching it the second time like this, I feel I'm kind of engrossed in it. It's really captured me.
He's very credible.
Yeah.
In Tallahassee and asked you to go with him, right?
Yeah. Yes.
He told you that if you took a ride with him, that he would give you around $35,000, right?
I don't remember.
He didn't initially tell you what the job was, right?
Nope.
He rented the car and he picked you up, right?
Yes, sir.
At some point during the trip, he told you that it was not going to be for a robbery, but for a murder, right?
Yes, sir.
He told you that they were going to kill someone because there was a lady who wanted custody of her kids back, right?
Yes, sir.
You didn't know anything about the person that you and Sigfredo were supposed to kill, right?
I didn't know none of these people.
The only thing you saw was a piece of paper that Sigfredo had with a photo and address on it, right?
Yes, sir.
And the photo looked like a headshot, right? Like from chest up.
Yes, sir.
Something you would get off the internet.
I doubt that, but wherever he got it from, he got it.
Your understanding was that Katie gave Sigfredo that piece of paper, right?
Maybe.
There again, he's trying to, like, oh yeah, he could have pulled it up off of the internet, this blog, and he's like, I doubt it. He's sharp enough to not. I mean, I could see how if I were giving the testimony and I'm tired and it's not, I could be lulled into saying the wrong thing. But he's so focused, and he's not diverting at all from what he knows is the truth, which is
he's
after
a
10
very
years.
good witness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a very good witness. Oh, yeah. He's a very good witness for the state.
Yeah.
You and Sigfredo left for Tallahassee after midnight on June 4th, which was a Wednesday, right?
I don't remember.
Fair enough. I wouldn't remember either.
Come on, man. 9 years ago.
Well, the next day after you arrived, you got to Professor Markel's house early in the morning and waited for him to come out, right?
Yes, sir.
And you saw him leaving the house with 2 kids, and you followed him to the daycare, right?
Was this the first drive?
First drive, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you lost him, right?
Yes, sir.
And Sigfredo wanted to go back to Professor Markel's house, right?
Yes, sir.
And you refused. You didn't want to go back.
I don't remember.
You told Sigfredo you didn't want to kill a man over 2 kids.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to do it in front of the kids.
So you headed back to Miami.
Yeah.
So this was a little different. He originally said, and I think this is what Rashbaum was saying, you said you don't want to kill a man that has 2 children. And why are we doing this? And he's now saying, I didn't want to do it in front of the kids. So that was a little bit of a, I'm not sure what he was thinking, why he added that in. Did you catch that?
I don't remember what are you saying from Katie's trial? He said the opposite, or he said what you just said?
From Katie's, from previous trials, as well as from his proffer. He never said in front of the kids. He said, I don't want to kill this. Why am I killing this father of 2 kids? That was not in front of them.
Well,
I don't know.
But I think it's because of the way that he asked him the question that he asked him, which is, I don't want to kill in front of kids.
I don't think so. Let me listen again, because I'm interested in this. Okay, let's listen.
During the first trip.
Yeah.
You didn't want to do it in front of the kids.
Yeah,
So.
see?
Okay. Yeah, he put it in his head. Okay, that's why he's trying to change his statement.
And we already talked a couple times about seeing the woman on the street during the second trip, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we did. And he stuck to it. I don't know what that was. I think that was a faux pas by Rashbaum. Why even say that? We've talked about the woman and seeing him. Now he's having him agree. He's almost like Rashbaum is agreeing to something that he wanted to disagree with before. That was kind of odd. That was a mistake.
I'm really indifferent about him sometimes. It seems like he's like in part of his opening, he was sort of blaming Wendy, but then when she was on the stand, he went very soft on her. And then at times it's like he's defending the whole family, but then at other times he's not. So I'm very confused at times by his, and I get it. Look, he's doing his best. I understand that. I would not want to be in his shoes. No amount of money would get me to be there, but I think you need to pick a lane.
My impression, and this could be totally off, but my impression was that the maestro here, the self-proclaimed maestro here, came up with this cockamamie defense because really he didn't have anything else. And he's like, and he insisted on Rashbaum using it, and it was their attempt and his attempt, and Rashbaum was all too happy to go along with it because it would have protected the rest of the family. And so that was it. And I don't think Rashbaum really obviously bought into that defense, but he may not have been given a choice. And it may have even been the whole family telling Rashbaum, you don't have a choice. We're doing this. This is the way we're going. I didn't see that throughout the trial. I felt like he was trying to protect the rest of the family throughout the trial, and Tylee, but the rest of the family more so. That was my overall impression. Now on second viewing, I might not feel that way. No, that was my gut impression, that this was for the family, not necessarily. The defense was for the family, not for Charlie necessarily, for all of them. Yeah.
Now, on July 18th, the day of the murder, you saw Professor Markel with his kids.
Yes, sir.
Again, you followed them to the daycare to make sure they were dropped off.
Yes, sir.
And then you went to the gym.
Yes.
And then you followed him back to his house where he was murdered, right?
Yes, sir.
Good point, Thomas.
And Sigfredo was the shooter.
Yes, sir.
He wanted you to be the shooter, but you didn't want to do it.
Yes, sir.
You testified that when you and Sigfredo were on your way back to Miami, Sigfredo called Katie.
Yes, sir.
And are you aware that the state has call records which put that call at 12:30 p.m.?
I don't know the time.
Will you take my word that the call records for purposes of these questions show that that call happened at 12:30?
If you say so.
The call wasn't on speakerphone, right?
No.
And you were driving on the highway at the time, right?
Yes, sir.
With the window cracked open a bit.
I don't remember.
Fair enough.
With the window cracked
It's
open.
your testimony that you were able to hear some of the conversation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I see where he's going with that.
And you think you heard Sigfredo tell Katie, it's done, right?
I heard.
You heard Sigfredo tell Katie, it's done.
Yes. You sitting
And
next
you-
to me.
And what's that?
You sitting right next to me.
Understand. And you think you heard Katie respond, I know.
I think I heard her.
When you were interviewed by law enforcement, in September of 2016, right?
Yes, sir.
That was 2 years after the murder.
Yes, sir.
We're now 8 years after the murder, right?
Yes.
Your memory might have been a little bit better then. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And during that interview, you told law enforcement that you didn't hear the I know comment. Do you recall that?
No.
Nonetheless, in order for Katie to know, she would have had to be told by someone before 12:30 p.m., correct?
Yeah.
After Sigfredo hung up with Katie, he told you that you would get your money tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were upset about that.
Yes.
You were upset because you didn't understand why the money wasn't already secured.
Absolutely.
Because when you do a murder for hire, you get paid up front.
Yes, sir.
You don't get paid over time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't get paid after the fact.
Yep.
The whole point of a murder for hire is you get paid, you do a killing, and then you separate.
Yes.
That's the reason for that type of crime, right?
I guess.
And in fact, you told Sigfredo that since the job was finished, you were supposed to be paid right there and then.
Yes,
Isn't that
sir.
what you told him?
Yes, sir.
Now let's talk a little bit about the payment. You got paid the next day, right?
Yep.
And Katie dropped off the money, right?
Yes, sir.
And it was stapled.
Yes, sir.
And that's the first time you had ever seen stapled money, right?
Yes.
You had never, on any of these other trips, you had never seen stapled money.
What other trips?
Well, the first trip to Tallahassee, the second trip to Tallahassee, ever in your
Okay.
life.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen stapled money.
And when you got paid, Sigfredo gave you an extra $2,000, right?
Yes, sir.
I can't imagine being Ruth right now, like listening to this over and over again. Just chilling.
Throughout the years after, Katie and
I mean, this guy is putting me to sleep. I'm like, this is so, he can do this with Katie, by the way. He's just being so slow and deliberate, like he was with his closing. It was just like, God, would you please just speak a little more? I feel like I should put it on a faster speed, but it's so slow. So, so we've been up here for about an hour now, So,
yeah.
Oh, no, Thomas. No, it wasn't intentional. Yeah, it was an undercut, but not intentional. I just mentioned it because I had a lot of folks coming and usually the chat is kind of wild and I didn't want, I want everyone who replays to know we miss them. So yeah, so we're gonna this is our hour for tonight. We're gonna stop it here. We are at 41 minutes and 28 seconds. Oh, he's just about done. Hold on. Let's just finish. Can we finish it out, Katie? I mean, Carla?
Sure.
Calling you Katie Megbano. Sorry. You don't want
no.
to hear it. No.
Secreto got back together, right?
He
Yeah, I
bores
was in prison
me.
already.
But you saw that they had moved to a new apartment,
Yeah,
that they had bought a new large TV.
TV.
They bought a nice TV, right? After the murder.
No, I was in prison.
What about before you went
I
to
was
prison?
in
Did you see
prison.
they
I
bought a
love
new
that.
large TV?
I mean, they had nice stuff.
They started to get some nice stuff, right?
Yeah,
Started to spend some money, right?
yeah.
One last area of questions, I believe, and it'll be quick.
Yes, thank you. Be quick.
In 2014
We're all
and
falling asleep.
2015, during the time of these events, you were a member of the Latin Kings, right?
Yeah.
And that's a crime family, right?
It's a family, yeah.
It's a
Commits
family.
crimes, right?
I mean, every gang does.
It's a gang.
I guess that's what you want to call it. I call it a family.
In fact, you were the head of the North Miami branch of the Latin Kings, right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Buckle up, buttercups. He's skating on thin ice here. He I think this is where he decides to bow out.
Mr.
the way
Rivera,
Charlie-
the defense characterized
The way Charlie looked at him when he wrapped up. Did you see that look there?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He has to walk on very thin ice with him, though, because
Okay.
potentially there, obviously, the future safety of his client is on the line.
Yeah, I don't really think. I mean, there's that, but I think he's just worried about Luis coming off as more credible than his client. That's
Mhm.
why he's so careful, because Luis will challenge him, and he showed that he would in the proffer. So he got a feel for what it was going to be like. And I'm sorry, we are looking at this. I don't know why these videos are all chopped up weird. They must have changed them. Okay, I have it
again.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is where Georgia does her redirect. It's very quick. So let's just quick listen to it. We'll be done with this part. Sorry, guys. Here we go. We're going to watch the end and then go back to the beginning because we can.
Throughout the years after, Katie and Secreto got back together, right?
Yeah, I was in prison already.
But you saw that they had moved to a new apartment,
Yeah.
that they had bought a new large TV.
TV.
They bought a nice TV, right? After the murder.
No, I was in prison.
What about before you went to prison? Did you see they bought a new large TV?
I mean, they had nice stuff.
They started to get some nice stuff, right?
Yeah.
Started to spend some money, right?
Yeah.
As in prison. I love.
One last area of questions, I believe, and it'll be quick. In 2014 and 2015, during the time of these events, you were a member of the Latin Kings, right?
Yeah.
And that's a crime family, right?
That's
It's a family. Yeah.
he almost
Commits
did,
crimes, right?
he didn't know how to
I
say
mean,
it.
every gang does.
It's a gang.
I guess that's what you want to call it. I call it a family.
In fact, you were the head of the North Miami branch of the Latin Kings, right?
Yeah.
It looks like Bree kind of smiled at that. Whoever is that Bree, we're going to call her Bree, whether or not she's Bree, but she thought that was quite amusing. She smiled when he said that. When Luis said, "You call it a gang, I call it a family," and so there was a lot. Okay, so this is maybe what. Okay, let's just finish this and hold on, and then I'll say what I was going to say. We're
May I
almost
have
to
one
the end.
moment, Your Honor?
He's like, oh yeah, not another moment, please. Luis wants to go home. Charlie, look at him, the way he's looking at Rashbaum there.
Mr. Rivera, the defense
I don't know.
characterized a lot of things that Garcia told
Not
me
happy.
as lies. Do you know that those things were lies?
No.
So when he said, oh, that's the lady, she's looking at us, do you know if he really thought it was the lady or not?
No, it was the lady.
He thought it was the lady,
It
right?
was the lady.
Okay.
It was
It was her.
All right.
Bam.
And how long after the murder did Garcia seem to have a lot of money? Like for years after the murder, for weeks after the murder?
Probably weeks, months.
Okay, so weeks or months he was spending money like crazy, right?
Yeah.
But after that, he was broke again.
Yeah.
bingo. Ding, 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 ding.
When you were in the car with Garcia at the restaurant where he was talking about running the dentist over,
Yes, ma'am.
what was he acting like?
I mean, he's himself. You can never tell. But
Mhm.
he drinks a lot. He does a lot of coke. But he was frustrated.
Okay, so he was jealous.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love the way he's like, he was himself. You just never know with this guy. Like, he's just being so honest. And then he said he was frustrated. I mean, I just like that Luis always seems to have a grasp on things that, I mean, I wouldn't know how to answer that question, really. I just think he's really so genuine, and you can tell that he really cares about his friend too, even though they've probably will never speak again because he's angry at what he drug him into. But I'm on the second watching of this, I'm really glad I'm looking at it, and I think his testimony is very powerful, especially about the fact that he's sticking to that was the lady, that was Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Angry,
Yeah.
pissed off,
Hmm.
drunk.
Every day.
Okay. And
Every day.
heartbroken, right?
Yes.
All right. What about on the trips to Tallahassee? Was he like that on those trips?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So during the trips to Tallahassee, was he talking about the dentist?
No, we barely spoke.
All right. So when y'all were sitting out in front of the restaurant, he was talking about the dentist, right? At that time.
Yeah.
And specifically mentioning how Katie was dating the dentist and that was upsetting him.
That's all he said. He didn't mention him too much. He's like, that's the dude she's cheating on me with.
All right. And what about on the trips to Tallahassee? Was he going on about that on the trips to Tallahassee? No. Did he mention on the trips to Tallahassee, like, this has something to do with the dentist, or we got to kill this guy because I'm trying to harm the dentist?
No. To harm him, he never said nothing about him.
Right.
There's the whole like the whole extortion thing right out the window. Look how honest he's like, no. I mean, his face is totally in alignment with what his words are saying. It's very convincing. You would think, wouldn't you think, that Luis would know if there was an extortion? I mean, especially if it involved the Latin Kings.
100%. I'm telling you, he's been so incredibly credible all throughout.
So genuine, and Sigfredo wasn't even part of the Latin King. It just doesn't. Yeah, it's really impressive. I'm so glad we're doing this, and I think she's about to wrap up.
Moment, please, Your Honor.
Charlie's nodding his head up and down, and he's like, "Yeah, that's how." See, he's saying yes. He's agreeing. See those
Does this
nods?
murder have anything to do with the Latin Kings?
No, absolutely not.
Were you asked to threaten anybody related to this murder? I mean, were you ever asked to threaten the dentist because you're a Latin King and he might be afraid of you?
No, I don't even know these people, man. The Latin Kings ain't got nothing to do with this.
No further
I promise you that.
Witness be recalled by everybody.
Potentially, Your Honor.
Mr. Rivera, you may step down from there.
He's like, get me out of here, people. You people are nuts.
He's
there you
probably
have it.
thinking no amount of chaos that the Latin Kings cause compares to this nut job.
Right? I mean, what's he doing? He's supposed to be a dentist and he's murdering somebody for what? Like he's just baffled by the whole thing. And somebody just mentioned Luis's stare. So we're going to end off tonight with my most recent video. Actually, I don't think it's the most recent video. It's one of my videos. Luis's stare. Where is it?
You mean your opening?
Yeah, we're going to close up with what we opened because somebody mentioned the...
Yeah, Phoenix Rising.
So many.
That is a death stare.
I can do it here. Here, we go ahead and do it here. And there's one other video that I just released today that people seem to like. So let's check that out too before we go.
Yeah, your graphics. I'm telling you.
I
don't know if anybody else understands, but the most creative that I get is via Canva. Dawn takes it to a whole other level.
I use Canva.
So shout out to Canva.
I know. I use Canva. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's check. We have to do this one more time. Our ode to Luis Rivera. This trial has not disappointed. Did not disappoint. Did the little video I did, the short that I did today, did that scare you?
Oh my gosh. It's like what nightmares are made of. Yes. It's like Stephen King level.
Really?
Yeah, totally. If you guys haven't checked it out, you need to. It's good. It's really good.
I can show it real quick. It's 30 seconds long. Let's go for it.
Yeah, no. You know, they should have stopped that like in the you know how they have like the Halloween nights or whatever they're called? Yeah, that should be right up there.
Well, okay, so in my defense, I don't like horror and I don't like any of that, but the reason I did it is I did another video with Donna, what was it, Monday or Tuesday, when she was arrested, right? Late Sunday night.
Monday.
So
late Monday.
I was watching the video of her appearing for the judge for the first time, and remember, and it was just a short, like a 2-minute clip, and I see the judge there, and then all of a sudden there's Donna. It was just like she was all of a sudden there, and I screamed. I was like, bah! It was like so, and I screamed. So that's where this came from, because it was just so weird. Like that whole video just had a weird vibe to it, because the judge is trying to be nice and pleasant and upbeat, and Donna was just, I mean, she was probably in a daze, half in a daze. She did look defiant to me. The eye roll, my goodness, you know. But I wonder what it's going to be like when she gets to Tallahassee and we get to actually see a real I'm looking at the comments, a real idea of what she looks like, because her arraignment will be a little bit longer. We'll see her walk and all that. We'll see if her in shackles, probably. Crazy. Okay, so let me get to these comments real
Big
quick.
fall from grace.
Oh my goodness. Phoenix Rising says Luis is very good with Ness.
Witness.
He's the witness. Okay. Thank you. He's the most authentic and honest when, yeah. And even when he can't remember, he's like, I don't remember. I don't want to have a dark side. I don't think I do. I was genuinely scared when I saw her. So I'm a jumpy person. It's easy to get me scared. Gotcha, witness. Okay. And what will Donna's defense be? What do you think? Okay, let's take two sides. I say no defense. She pleads guilty, goes to the grave with all her secrets. What do you say, Carla?
Well, so we know that the multiple extortions defense didn't work, so she's not going to go down that path.
Oh no.
I just keep going back to, I don't think she's going to make it that far, because we're thinking, think about it. We're at the end of 2023, not for another year. That takes us to the end of 2024, possibly 2025. I think jail is going to take a real toll on her. She hasn't even gone to prison. I just think jail is going to take a toll on her.
Okay. Well, okay, that's fine. But let's just say she's alive and she does fight it. What do you think her defense would be? I don't agree, because I think people like that who are fueled by anger, they live longer than normal people. She's a spiteful woman.
Good point.
Right. I don't care how skinny she is.
I don't know.
But anyway,
what defense they could put.
Exactly. That's why I don't think she's going to. She's not going to say they were both extorted, but she's going to have to embrace a little of that. And I will say the extortion thing, and even Georgia Kaplan said, and James from Mentor Lawyer said, you know, of course there was going to be some kind of accusation that they were being extorted, and I still believe that Katie would have held this over the Adelsons' head for the rest of her life. She would have been the next one dead. I'm not kidding you, and I think they would have been real tired of her. At a certain point. I mean, they might have not had to kill her. They might have just told her to shut up, but because she would have been implicating herself if she tried to throw them under the bus. But
Sharon says she won't see a trial. She'll take a plea. I don't think they're going to offer her one.
I don't think they're going to offer a plea. I think she's going to plead guilty. Oops, I missed Sharon. I agree, Sharon. I mean, a plea could just mean I'm pleading out, I'm guilty.
That's true.
Right.
That's true, but they won't give her a deal.
What do you think, Sharon? Do you think she's going to take a deal or just plead guilty? Is that what you mean? And yep, Thomas says she's just going to say, yeah, basically. So in that way, she'll embrace some of his defense, but not, you know, she won't undercut him.
But I think it's going to be a little hard with some of her statements, like, you know, the good old line.
It's the two of us.
It involves us two. It's just about
the two of us, right? But she could say, "Well, I just assumed, you know, it was going to be something, you know."
Charlie.
Yeah. Sharon says she thinks she's going to plead guilty too. Yeah. I just don't. I mean, I don't. You can always find a lawyer who will say, okay, the investigation was done wrong. They can pick apart what the FBI did. Was it legal? They can really get a defense together based on criticizing the investigation. And I think that would be actually smart, because this investigation, I mean, it took them so long to arrest her, right? So they can poke a lot of holes in the police work. And that's what a lot of defenses are. So if she does have a defense, I think that would be the way she would go. She could then that way just skirt around what Charlie's defense was and not even address it. Of course, she cannot take the stand.
I wish if she is gonna plead guilty, I wish she would have done it when Charlie was arrested. She would have come forward. That would have at least shown some of, I don't know, that she gives a damn.
Well, they thought they were going to win. I mean, they just thought they were above it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, my throat, as you can probably tell, is starting to go, and Carla needs to get back to her kids with 4 legs. So it was really great for you to join us tonight, and for those replaying, hey. And we will see you tomorrow night, same time, same place. Maybe actually a little earlier. Are we coming on? We're coming on a little bit, an hour earlier tomorrow night. So
an hour at 6. Yeah, 6 Pacific.
6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, Saturday night powwow. We'll look at the first half of Luis's testimony. Sometimes it's fun to do things backwards anyway, so it wasn't intentional.
And I've missed a lot of it, so this was good. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you all for being here. Oh, and Sharon does say she wouldn't be able to face a jury. She must protect her boy and Wendy and her husband. Don't forget Harvey. Donna, Thomas says Donna won't plead guilty because of the ramifications for Wendy. Right. It's complicated. But I know for a fact that she'd be more than happy to. I'm sure there are plenty of lawyers she'll get advice from, and plenty of lawyers who would be happy to take the Adelson money. So, and as they should, you should. And you're so welcome, Sharon, and have a good night, Thomas. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your loyalty, and we'll see you all tomorrow night. Thank you, Carla. It's always so great to see you.
Thank you for having me. See you all tomorrow.
Of course. Bye, guys.